For a Republican perspective on voting legislation in Washington and Texas, I'm joined by Congressman Van Taylor. He just returned to Washington from his district near Dallas. He also previously served in the Texas legislature. Thanks so much for being here, Congressman. It's been a wild 24 hours. The governor of your state is calling for Democratic lawmakers to be arrested. Lawmakers are, of course, now in D.C., not wanting to be part of the state legislature. What do you make of the last 24 hours? And do you think it's appropriate for the governor to be calling for these lawmakers to be arrested?
Well, the Democrat lawmakers should do their job. I mean, they're hired by their districts and asked by the state of Texas to show up and work on legislation in Austin. That's what they should be doing. This is, unfortunately, you're seeing the rank partisanship and brokenness of Washington, D.C. infect the Texas legislature. And that's really unfortunate. What we want to see is legislation that makes our elections secure, that makes it easy to vote. And what we don't want to see is the kind of Washington-style, federal takeover of elections that gets rid of voter ID laws, that uses taxpayer money to pay for attack ads. These are the kind of things that Americans don't want. And what Texans expect is their legislators show up to work and do their job. 10 million Texans showed up to the office today. But unfortunately, 51 members of the Texas House decided they didn't need to do theirs.
Now, you say you don't want D.C. partisanship to infect Texas lawmakers, but you are part of course, the Problem Solvers Caucus here in Washington, D.C. It's Democrats and Republicans negotiating, saying that they're going to work on issues together. Do Democrats in Texas have a point here when they say that Republicans in Texas, they don't want to hear their input, they just want to ram through these GOP-backed voting laws without hearing it all from Democrats?
Yeah, certainly that's not my experience. In my time in the Texas legislature, Democrats were given a seat at the table. They were given an opportunity to give their input on whether it was a budget. The budget this session in Texas, I think 97% of the Texas legislators, Republicans and Democrats, voted for the budget. They're given committee chairmanships. They're given a seat at the table. And Democrats decided yesterday they're walking away from their seat at the table. So they have a seat at the table, they have an opportunity for input, and they decided they didn't want to take advantage of that. And in fact, want to just put sand in the gears and try to stop the process entirely.
And I want to zoom out a bit. President Biden and other Democrats have said that these voting laws that we're seeing passed by Republicans all over the country, that they're a form of Jim Crow laws, of course, these racist laws in American history. What do you make of that and the fact that they're saying that these laws specifically target Black people, people of color, some of whom, of course, died for their access to the ballot box?
Well, I mean, the hypocrisy is rich. I mean, you take the president of the United States who comes from the state of Delaware. There's no early voting in Delaware, and he's trying to lecture Texas about expanding its early voting opportunities. I mean, it's hard to fathom where he's coming from. At the end of the day, Texas, and I like to say my home county, Collin County, we've done a lot to pioneer and innovate and get more people to the ballot box. And we actually have one of the highest voter participations of any county in the state of Texas. And we want to see more people vote. Voting is a good thing. It makes our democracy full. But you want to have people that have confidence in their voting system. And this kind of rank hypocrisy of someone lecturing you and saying, hey, we don't have early voting, but you do. You're the one that are trying to suppress the vote. It's just absurd.
And you say you want to expand access to voting. And of course, a record number of people cast their ballots in the last election. You've said, to Congressman, that President Biden legitimately won the election. State and federal officials have said that this last election was the most secure election in American history. So why are these laws needed if we had a secure election, if we had a president who was legitimately elected?
Well, it comes down to the basic question of how much voter fraud is too much, and I think any.
But there's no massive voter fraud.
Well, look, unfortunately, in my experience, and in the Texas legislature and in Congress, I've run into voter fraud, and it's a very upsetting thing when you find it. It's deeply upsetting because you realize someone's vote was taken from them, and you also realize that people were elected that should not have been elected. And that's not right. And so I think you want to make sure that you have a system that's foolproof, that's airtight. And look, I've worked on those kind of bills in the Texas legislature, and most of those I passed were largely bipartisan because mostly people agree on how you want to make your elections more secure. But sometimes these Washington D.C. ideas infect into Austin, And that's why you're seeing this kind of partisanship and this brinksmanship of leaving the state, getting out of not doing your own job, and then the hypocrisy of trying to lecture other people about how they should do their jobs.
Well, again, I want to just reiterate that state and federal officials have said that the last election was the most secure in American history, but I take your points. Thank you so much for joining us, Congressman Taylor.
Sure, great to be with you.